Welcome, everyone, to tonight's regularly scheduled board meeting here at White Lake Township of November 18th, 2025. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and those of you who can stand, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee Smith?
Here.
Trustee Ruggles?
Here.
Clerk Noble here. Supervisor Kowal?
Here.
Treasurer Roman?
Here.
Trustee Voorhees?
Present.
Trustee Anderson?
Here.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I have a motion by Clerk Noble. Looking for support?
Board.
I have support from Mr. Anderson. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Next item, public comment. You have 3 minutes to state your business at the podium, and you'll need to identify yourself for the recorder. Any takers at this time? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Moving on to consent agenda. Consent agenda is a list of revenue expenses and different budget report amendments and department reports and check disbursements and appointments. And I'm looking for a motion on consent agenda.
Make a motion to to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Mr. Noble. I have support by Trustee Smith, I think I heard. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Next item, minutes. Approval of the minutes of regular board meeting of October 21st. Any questions or comments from the board?
Motion to approve minutes.
I have a motion to approve. Looking second from Andrew Voorhees. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Next item is a presentation from Sandra. I'd like you to come to the podium and identify yourself for the crowd and proceed with your presentation.
Absolutely, and thank you all for allowing me to join your meeting this evening. My name is Sandy Gulick, and I'm a resident here at White Lake Township. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors for the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan, and I'm also a mother with an adult daughter living with epilepsy. For those of you who may be less familiar with epilepsy, it is a neurological condition that affects the brain, producing unprovoked seizures where the brain essentially malfunctions. Depending on where in the brain the seizure disorder occurs, it can affect the duration and frequency of the disorder. These can range anywhere from focal seizures, where an individual appears to be absent-minded, or daydreaming, where their brain is simply malfunctioning and trying to reboot, to a generalized seizure, which is a grand mal seizure, or tonic-clonic, which is the classic case of someone convulsing, losing consciousness, and losing bodily function, to SUDEP, which is sudden, unexpected death in epilepsy. And while this condition is similar to SIDS and rare, it does affect 1 in 1,000. While society in general may not be aware of epilepsy in general, the reality is 1 in 26 are affected by epilepsy in their lifetime, and 1 in 10 will suffer a seizure in their lifetime. There are nearly 3.4 million Americans living with active epilepsy, including 109 here in Michigan alone. So my reason for being here this evening is a personal one. This is the face of epilepsy. This is our teenage daughter, Caitlin Marie. She was diagnosed when she was 16. She was a vibrant, active high school senior, by all accounts normal and healthy. She suffered her first grand mal seizure in November of 2017, totally unprovoked, unaware as to what was going on. Caitlin continued to have seizures undetected and unaware of what the condition was occurring. And she became depressed, filled with anxiety, despair, and loss of hope. Our family was fortunate enough to be connected with the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan through a mutual friend. And as a result of that, Caitlin received specialized care from an epileptologist, Gregory Barkley, out of Henry Ford Hospital. That decision to get involved with the Epilepsy Foundation changed our family's life and transformed Caitlin's life as well, changing her story. Caitlin fortunately did go on to graduate from high school. She entered college in full-blown seizure disorder until her seizures were controlled by medication. The Epilepsy Foundation served as our lifeline. They are a nonprofit organization that has been in the community for over 75 years. But being a parent who had never heard of epilepsy before had no idea that they existed. Again, they were our lifeline. In addition to providing us with community referrals and medicational professionals, they provide education, wellness, and health conferences like we hosted at Schoolcraft College this past weekend, where over 300 individuals were in attendance. They also provide educational and innovation conferences that improves the quality of life and treatment for those living with epilepsy. They host back-to-school conferences that provide information and advocacy information for parents with students going off to college. And it was there that we learned that Caitlin was eligible for protection under the America with Disabilities Act for accommodations in school, allowing her to graduate from Central Michigan University. The foundation also provides seizure first aid training for municipalities, police departments, fire departments, employers, educators, and community partners so that they know how to respond in the event of a seizure. This can make the difference between someone's life and losing one's life. They also provide kids camp and family camps for children who otherwise wouldn't have access for overnight camps because of their epileptic condition. The foundation also provides for lobbying in both Lansing and Washington to improve access to treatments and therapies for epilepsy while protecting the rights of individuals because they are members of our community and deserve the same rights as everyone else. So my ask this evening is of White Lake Township to proclaim and recognize November as Epilepsy Awareness Month, and to join the other communities around the state of Michigan, including Birmingham, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Big Rapids, Farmington Hills, Allen Park, Southfield, Livonia, Traverse City, Rochester Hills, Bay City, Genesee Township, and a host of other communities that are painting the town purple with banners and purple ribbons to increase awareness to not only epilepsy, but also to the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan to ensure that no family faces this diagnosis alone and that they have access to the treatment and care that can make the difference in life and death for these individuals. So I appreciate the opportunity to share this information with the township and your guests here this evening. And I guess my ask is next steps going forward as to how we can ensure that no family faces this diagnosis alone.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being here, and for those of you out there, and board members and public as such, you've noticed these purple ribbons around the township, and there was a purple ribbon fairy out there doing all that work, and it did draw some attention, of which we need to have awareness of this type of affliction. I happen to have had a very good friend of mine whose sister was severely debilitated with this as an adult woman, and still has some difficulties. So it's very important to understand neurological disorder and just to treat it as a disorder, and there are sources for help. So I certainly would like to go through with our proclamation from the Township Board in support of recognizing this affliction.
Oh, definitely appreciate that, and I hope that today is not the last that you hear of me, and hope that next year that I can have more purple banners and ribbons throughout White Lake Township as we paint the town purple and increase awareness across the state of Michigan. So I appreciate it, and thank you very much. If there's any questions, I will.
Just from the board this time?
Thanks for speaking, first of all. My father had some symptoms as well. I know medication really helped him, though. But how has the medication changed your daughter's life?
Yeah, so Caitlin is controlled by medication. She hasn't suffered a seizure since July 15th of 2018. Not that we're keeping track at any, but yeah, she is controlled by medication currently, but it does have negative side effects. It does affect anxiety, PTSD, because you're basically a walking time bomb, not knowing when that seizure disorder is going to reoccur. Just because she is well controlled, this is a lifelong condition that she will struggle with, but she is thriving. She did graduate from college. She's engaged to be married and living a normal, active life aside from her diagnosis, but she too is an advocate for this condition to bring awareness to the condition as well as the foundation as well. And like I said, There are a lot of very worthy causes, but there would be nothing more shameful than someone who is affected by epilepsy to not be aware of the resources that are available through the Epilepsy Foundation of Michigan. So,
When you have an opportunity, can you schedule a visit with my office again? So
absolutely.
we can get together. Any other questions from the board?
I have a comment too. I have a 16-year-old neighbor that has epilepsy, so I say that, so I'm going to give them that resource also. But
Absolutely.
I work with people in epilepsy. I can't pull the word out.
Epilepsy is a tough word. I didn't even know what it meant until I was faced with it.
So I know someone else, but it was interesting to hear more facts.
Yeah, and that is the harsh reality of it is 1 in 26 are impacted. So while there is a stigma around the condition and it is not widely known, it is widespread, and that's why I'm here tonight, increasing awareness and more importantly, making sure that people know that there are resources available to them.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you as well. I'll be the fourth board member that has also had a family member touched by epilepsy. So, out of 7 of us here, 4 of us have been touched personally by it. So it just goes to show that it's really widespread and maybe not talked about as enough. So I look forward to increasing awareness next year and each year going forward. But I do want to thank you because you shared such really important information to our community. So thank you.
Well, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. And if you don't mind, I'd love to stay as a guest and listen into the balance of your meeting.
Well, of course, you're a resident. You're welcome to stay. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. With that, what I would like to do at this moment in time is to proclaim November 2025 Epilepsy Awareness Month. White Lake Township Board does hereby proclaim November Epilepsy Awareness Month to encourage Michigan residents to take action together so no one faces epilepsy alone. That is a traveled road of which one needs to have as much comfort and as many tools in the box as possible. So with that, I make that proclamation. I'm looking for support.
Support.
I have support. All in favor? Aye. Hereby proclaimed. Thank you very much. Okay, certainly appreciate it. The other item that I'd like to bring in, which is not on the agenda, is that from time to time, we have individuals that are involved with the board who achieve great heights. And at this moment in time, what I would like to do is I would like to take and congratulate our attorney, Lisa Hamami, up on the picture there.
Raise your hand.
And she is now the 91st president of the Bar Association. I hope our rates don't go up. Now, the other.
Ninth woman.
Ninth woman. Good on you. The next thing is too, and I couldn't get it up there fast enough, Detroit Business Magazine, for any of you who are, get this particular periodical, which is pretty much the who and what in the Detroit metropolitan area. And if you go into the legal eagle section over here, it says,
I haven't seen it.
I'm always, I'm a supervisor, I gotta know all this stuff. The best municipal lawyer in basically southeastern Michigan, Lisa J. Hamami.
Wow.
Right there.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
now the rates are going up.
Now the rates are going up.
You
You didn't see it?
You didn't see
Didn't
that?
look up? Okay. There was just a little recognition because we have our moments with Lisa, but they're all good moments. So we certainly appreciate her looking out for White Lake in the manner of which she does. So there you go. You can sign that. I can get your autograph. I'll remember when you were somebody. And then we'll kind of go
You
from
need a
there.
Sharpie, first of all.
Okay, moving on. Next item. Next item is public hearing. This is the public hearing, strictly public hearing and public only, not the board members, to hear public comment regarding approval of the 2026 township budget. I am making a motion to go into public hearing to hear public comment from the regarding approval of the 2026 township budget. That is a form of a motion. Looking for support.
I'll support that.
I have support from Mr. Roman. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Supervisor Kowal?
Yes.
And Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
We are now in public comment for the 2026 township budget. Anyone at this time have any comment come up to the microphone, state your name, 3 minutes to state your case on the budget. Seeing none, I make a motion to close public comment. Looking for support.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is closed. New business, request to approve the 2026 township budget. Any conversation from the board members? Seeing none, looking for a motion.
I'll just mention, since it was so quiet, we did have for residents listening in tonight, we did have a budget workshop where we were able to get all of our questions, and the board has reviewed the budget, and we were able to talk about it prior to tonight. So perhaps that's why there's no questions this evening.
Thank you. That was in my next motion, but that's good. Thank you.
I'll motion to approve the 2026 budget.
I have a motion, roll call, support from Mr. Noble, roll call vote.
Trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
trustee Anderson,
Yes.
clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Ruggles,
Yes.
supervisor Kowal,
Yes.
and treasurer Roman.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next item is request to Resolution 25-038, 2026 General Appropriations Act, which is a confirmation of the budget. And I will read this information into the record and for the public knowledge. The general township budget proposed for 2026 is a general of $8,009,925, fire $6,158,256, police $9,109,908, building $976,255, Parks and Recreation, $424,375. Rubbish trash collection, $2,849,568. Public Act 188 Fund, which is public improvement projects, $350,300. Improvement in revolving, $8 million. CDBG Community Development Block Grant is $67,600. The construction fund is $8,010,000. The Corridor Improvement Authority is $15,000. The sewer is $3,862,361. Water is $2,297,874. Now that is a grand total of $50,131,422. That number is higher than any budget that we've had at any point in time in White Lake history, but it reflects the construction cost budget for the new township hall and public safety building. If you minus those particular items, that puts our budget at $34,121,422, which is just about par with last year. So we haven't had a huge increase. That information I wanted to put forth, and I certainly want to thank Elaine and Dawn for all their help, and they are our finance department to help putting all these numbers together, and all the department heads for putting your budget together for the year. So I am looking for a motion for Resolution 25038.
Motion to approve Resolution 25-038, the 2026 General Appropriations Act.
I have a motion, looking for support.
Support.
I have motion and support by Andrew Voorhees. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Kowal.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman,
Yes.
trustee Anderson,
Yes.
trustee Voorhees,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
and trustee Ruggles.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, request for some slight deviations for the West Valley project. Mr. O'Neill?
You want me to go, or do you want to go? Shoot. You want me to? I'll go.
It's a utility, basically.
thank you, Mr.
I'm
Supervisor.
sorry, I beg your pardon.
So we have on the packet, request from Fairview Construction. They are the developers for West Valley, for a utilities ordinance. Based on a little back history on the project, so they've had some very difficult issues that they've had to remediate on this project, starting with raising Union Lake Road 18 inches. Road Commission came in very late to the fact on that, as well as some very long lead times on some sanitary pump station details. Long story short, they are running into the end of the weather window to keep their trades working for the winter. So we've been discussing with them for 6 weeks or so what we feel like they would need to do to keep their project moving forward and keep those trades working without a variance. They have agreed to all those items, so we don't believe that they need a variance from any of the ordinances. If you read my October 10th email that they've included in this package and their cover letter here, they've agreed to all of those items. The rest of the punch list, technically with the zoning ordinance, is not due until certificate of occupancies are requested. But there's been a lot of misunderstanding on this. And though I feel that we have met the intent and the letter of the ordinance, we wanted to bring that to the township board. I think the developers wanted to discuss it with the township board, just to, make sure that we are in fact correct and they can move forward in this way. Many other projects have issued punch list bonds for incomplete items. We feel like we've kind of spelled out how to, achieve what the ordinances require as far as building permits. What they're looking to do is continue to build structures. They have a working functional water system on the site. The only remaining items are acceptance requirements, as-built, things like that. On the sanitary sewer system, they do not have a functional sanitary sewer station. It's going to be some time before they get one. So they don't want their development to grind to a halt. They want to keep building. We have asked them to stub those connections up. We can't allow those connections to take place at this time, but if they, we think, pay those permits and we will hold them, then that allows them to get their building permits and they can move forward with their vertical construction. Anything you want to add to that? I think that's pretty much where we're at.
Okay. Well, I can see there's a cooperative
They
spirit.
are here tonight.
Yeah, cooperative spirit here with the developer to try to keep it going and understanding that the winter months, if you don't believe that, step outside. So it is upon us and frost and things of that nature. So I think this is an agreement, and I fully support it. And
Yeah, the only thing I will add, and it really kind of goes without saying, obviously they can't get occupancy permits without fully functioning utilities, so that just to say it, though it doesn't really need to be addressed. And any remaining items that would be on an existing punch list at the time of occupancy would need to be bonded for. So if they complete the utility items, which I'm sure that they will, they could simply flop over that letter of credit to cover any incomplete items on the punch list side. So like Aaron said, it really was more of running this past you because it's slightly out of the normal order, and we just wanted to be in communication with the board so that we could let you know that this was going on and find out whether or not you had any objection. And we certainly don't from our standpoint, but felt like we needed to have a conversation with you tonight.
okay. Any questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make
What was the bond amount?
Pardon?
I didn't hear the bond amount.
It's $200,000.
Okay.
And Aaron worked with them and with DLZ to come up with that dollar amount, and it's in.
So, yeah, the bond is based on engineers' estimates. It included as-built plans, which is an acceptance requirement, completing the construction of the sanitary sewer station, any incomplete OCRC testing. They've got some pressure sewer stuff that around the sanitary station, and then waiver of lien and bill of sale for the utilities. I would also like to add that the developer is still currently continuing to work on the project, and they may be completing some of these items. There's no duration on this bond. When the items are complete, then they could decide if they want us to return that funding to them, or if they want to roll that over to pay for some of their other bonds that they may need down the road, including, they're going to have landscaping bonds, They're going to have probably additional punch list bonds on any of the other site work that's incompleted. They'll have 2-year maintenance bond on the utilities. We do allow surety on the 2-year maintenance bond for the utilities. We have on most of the developments. But, they're not asking to circumvent any of those bond requirements. What they're asking for now is to, be allowed to obtain additional building permits so that they can continue to build. I mean, they did get the road done. They got their on-site road done. They're working right now on the sidewalk and the restoration along the frontage. I mean, they're continuing to work on this site every day. I'm sure many of you have been over there looking at it.
And I think, just to be clear, I don't believe we necessarily need a variance. I think tonight, again, it's more just making sure that you're okay with where things, our interpretation of where things stand. So I know it says that on the ordinance, but we're not requesting any formal action tonight unless there is an objection.
I just think essentially, the board would agree to follow the action as prescribed by DPS and the Community Development Director.
That sounds perfect.
And that will be my motion.
Can I ask a question of clarity on the punch list? So number 8 is restoration of Union Lake Road, and then you just said they're complete with the road?
They completed the road. These items that aren't checked on the punch list are not included in the $200,000. Those would be the bonds that they would be required to pay if those items were still incomplete at the time of C of O requests.
So there is still restoration work needed. This is their full punch list. The
This is the
things that
full
Aaron
punch
checked
list.
off are the ones that are related to the 200,000 tonight. The rest of them will remain on a punch list and either have to be completed or bonded for in the same fashion prior to any occupancy when they're ready for that, which they're a few months away still.
I know this is
So-
a
so
little,
we're
my
the-
question's a little bit of a deviation of what we're here for tonight, but my biggest concern with this project from day one has been Union Lake Road. And is it being left as is? I mean, I always have had a concern about the crest coming over, and now there's like quite an edge going on off the road.
So they've got grading that's happened along Union Lake Road, and they've got the base of the sidewalk graded.
That's the grading that's
That's
gonna,
pretty much going to be the grading of the site. I mean, it's a difficult site. It drops 30 feet in elevation
yeah,
from the top of
it's
the
not
site to the
safe.
bottom.
Yeah, it's been built to Oak County.
It has
Road
been
Commission
reviewed and
specs.
built to road
I
commission
know,
standards.
I went around and around with the Jason Emrine, their engineer on this road, and I was hoping for
Yeah.
a passing lane or a turn lane or something else, because I thought the whole plan was dangerous to begin with, but. Guardrail, maybe? Yeah, guardrail.
I believe the county is considering it. Guardrail? Yes. There was some scuttlebutt going on.
A
Yeah, we-
guardrail. I mean, it kind of looks like it needs one if it's
Yeah.
being left as, with this grade.
We sent something to the road commission, to the permitting engineers, sharing with them concerns that we had and that we had heard back from residents on it about them putting a guardrail in. I got no response. This was a couple of weeks ago, but it was sent.
Okay.
They also are currently working on a monument sign that's going to be a substantial monument sign along that frontage that includes several brick pillars and a fence along that area as well.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
it's a difficult site, and I mean, the alternative.
Very difficult.
That they discussed with you guys at several meetings was, the potential of, upwards of a 20-foot tall retaining wall, which we felt was even less safe. So, it's a tough property, yeah, but that's outside the scope of what we were talking about.
I know, but it's on the punch list, so I was curious.
Okay, I made a motion for the board to, my motion stands that, to proceed with the agreement between DPS and Community Development. That is my form of my motion. Looking for support. I have motion, I have support. All in favor? Aye. Aye, motion carries.
I was.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Okay, next item on the list, request to approve quote from VC3 for hardware and installation for new public safety in township buildings. Tricia Bergerman and
Good evening. I've got Mr. Jack Hastings here from VC3. So back, you'll all recall that when we did the contract with VC3, we have the quote and the proposal had the labor built into our annual pricing. And as a part of that, they have been working on the IT infrastructure needs for our new building. And so we've gotten that information back because when I say that, I mean like the switching and the wireless access points and the antennas and the software. And that's all of the things that you need in the building to run your computers and your operations, minus the server. Our server will come over with us. The quote came back to do that. It came back high. I knocked it down considerably. And I believe they're within a respectable range. I included some things that I pulled off the internet to show that their pricing was in line. This quote does not include any labor. This is strictly for the parts for each building that we need to put in the building. So the amount for the public safety building came in at $111,984.59, and the township building, $94,352.21. For a total of $206,336.80. And I brought Jack here just in case you had any questions about the technical things that I might not be able to answer. But I'm requesting approval for this quote so that they can order the parts. They will be performing all of the installation to the server rooms and everything that's needed. I think minus the MDIS is doing the hook and the Wi-Fi.
Correct.
Access points up. That's in their quote to to hook it up. So.
Okay. Questions from the board?
I have a question.
Please.
So I'm going to ask you to sharpen your pencil a little bit more. She says Jack. Is that your name?
Yes.
Jack.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to sharpen your pencil a little bit more. I think it's probably safe to say that you're probably marking up things about 30%.
No.
Yes. So I went and looked up a lot of these things that you are charging us. And like, for example, I pulled a switch that you're charging us about $8,500 for, and it's more like in the $6,000 range. And I'm sure I could do that on a ton of these items. So that's all. I'm just going to ask if you can do any better, or you can, maybe knock off like 10% for being loyal customers or something, because I know that these things are marked up quite a bit. I understand you have to make money and you're a business too, I get it, but I still think you're a little high.
I'm just going to say that I included pricing in here, and it shows that it's on the mark. I knocked $80,000 out of it because they were about 30% over on some items, and they very agreeably took it out immediately. And they had committed to me that they were within 10%. So it's really hard to pull these things up on the internet and have them be identical. I did a search with as much of the keywords as I could, and all of them came within range.
I'm not disputing your work.
Yeah.
I'm asking Jack, his company, to sharpen his
To
pencil.
answer the question specifically, we can be transparent on this. So from a part number and a markup, we can provide that.
Okay, so can you do a little better on this overall package that you're giving us?
I can give you the review of it so that you'd have that transparency that you're looking for.
But you believe they're within 10%?
Yes, that's, yes.
So, we can table it till next month. I don't know.
My comment remains, I don't think you're within 10%. I think you're a little high. And I do appreciate you bringing it down when Trish asked you to, but I still think you're a little bit high.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? Mr. Roman?
Yeah, so what is the average markup, Jack, if you can be transparent?
What we did with this is we ran the list. So the conversation, your IT advisor is Tom Conway, and Tom and Trish discussed this. The goal was 10%. Tom's out on medical right now. So my thing back to our team was to run it again at 10 points. So from the standpoint of transparency, to answer the question, I can provide that,
Yeah,
where we can go apples to apples down the list.
okay. I'm just curious, are there any tariffs built into any of these costs?
No, you have the, you have the internet street price, generically CDWG. Some of this is actually lower than that. So it's a competitive
is.
quote, but it's reviewable. And again, transparent. So if that's what's needed, I can do that for you.
Okay, what kind of lead time is on this stuff?
60, 90 days because of what it is. So some of the more intricate parts aren't always in warehouse, is a way to say it.
Okay, if we wait on this, can the price go up? Or how long is your quote good for?
It's a version of, do the items change? Are they available? Does HP or Meraki, which is Cisco, change some of this stuff? Generally, things do get more expensive.
Okay,
So it's a yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
So
a
it's going to
yes.
go up
Yeah.
from today.
So something could change, and then you'd have to re-quote a different
Yeah,
product, and it
I
could be
understand
higher.
that, But you're the expert, so it's going to go
No,
up.
you're right, yes. Some of
especially
the
with the
stuff.
calendar year coming to an end.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's probably better
if we
to
waited-
stick with what we got today then.
Maybe if we waited a
what you're
long
saying.
time, Anthony, it'd go up. But if you waited maybe like a month to check
No,
out,
we're seeing
things is
stuff
not
at the
gonna go
township
up.
building going up monthly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of.
We are
I don't
seeing
think
it.
this would go up by next month.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I had one question.
Mr. Anderson?
When you were talking about the labor, the installation, or whatever else would be separate, is the labor going to be based on our
No
current?
labor.
Yeah,
What?
there's no
There is none. When we pay now.
There's no labor. That's, what I was saying was because we put the labor in their contract.
Right.
They did this without any labor. So they worked on all of this with no charge as far as it's just the parts.
So if we were going with another competitive vendor, we'd be paying labor, so we'd be
Yes.
paying more money.
Mhm.
So it makes sense to.
It would be a lot more money.
Now.
Correct, yes.
Okay, I just wanted to get a clarification.
I think
That's
they
what-
had about 40,000 in labor that they backed out, if I
Right.
remember correctly.
yeah, That's what I thought you said. I just wanted to get a clarification on the idea of the labor aspect.
Having a single vendor
Right.
be involved in this complexity is really the right way to go. I mean,
I got a question. So what if you were to charge this labor, just ballpark it, what would that fee be?
I just
Not,
said-
not you, Trish, I'm asking him.
It would be beyond $40,000.
Thank you.
Right, right.
That answers my question, thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments?
So I was just saying, we go back to the labor aspect. Is it mainly based on the idea that because we are a current vendor, as far as you are contract with us, that's allowing you to absorb this labor?
It's because we agreed that they would do this when we were going through contract negotiations, and they would
Right.
do it as a part of the labor that's in the price of their contract, the extra 20% that we paid them for labor
We're
monthly.
already paying for labor. for install.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what I was saying. Because of our contract, that's how they can
Yes.
absorb the labor.
Yeah.
So it's not a situation where they're giving us the labor, it's part of the
It
contract.
kind of is. I mean, they didn't charge it. They didn't figure out how much it was going to cost. It was sort of an after conversation that if we do it this way, are you going to help us with the buildings? And they said yes. There was no figuring how much they're going to, they didn't actually come up with a price and figure that into the labor costs initially. So they looked at our overall service and they said, we think this is the number. I'm going to say that we've had a lot of, we've really used them a lot on labor in this time that we've had them for a lot of things, not just this. So I think we got a good deal, is what I'm going to say, with doing it
I
that
have one more
way.
question. Jack, did you write this bid? Are you the deciding factor?
So the way this works at VC3, this goes to something called architecture, which are system engineers. So these are networking engineers who come up with the
I'm
piece-
aware how it works. I just wanted to know if you were the one that wrote this bid or not.
No,
No.
it's written by Tom Conway.
Okay, by Tom.
Yeah.
So if the board recalls, like when we had them put in our server, I asked them to sharpen their pencil and go back, and they sure enough came back when we were able to shave off some the next month. So without Tom here, he's unable to be reached to ask if this can get a little bit better for us. I would propose that this is tabled till next month to see if Tom can bring this down just a little bit for us. I don't think your bid is outrageous. I don't think it's, like out of the norm. I just think it's a little bit high.
So, to answer that, it was reviewed based on that 10% goal. And when we brought it down, we went through it and got it to that. And then on top of that, again, your labor has been included.
I understand.
Yeah.
I guess you and I are going to agree to disagree because you keep saying 10% and I believe this is about 30%.
I'm just going to say, whatever you guys decide to do is fine with me. I had a specific meeting with them after I received the quote. It was at $286,883. We felt it was about 30% over, and we went through everything, and they went back and took it to what they said was within 10%. If you want them to provide that information, I'm confident that it will be. That's up to you guys to decide.
Sounds to me like you already had them sharpen their pencil, so I'm going to make a motion and just see if it goes. Motion to approve the IT infrastructure equipment for both buildings not to exceed $207,000.
I'll support that.
Roll call vote?
Supervisor Cowell.
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Ruggles.
No.
Trustee Voorhees.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson.
Yes.
Treasurer Roman.
Yes.
And Trustee Smith.
No.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Chris.
all your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, next item, discussion regarding resolution imposing temporary moratorium on the expenditure of public funds for the construction, improvement, and maintenance of private roads. Mr. Roman and David.
So Township Board, we've had a couple of requests from residents to potentially do special assessments for improvements on private roads. And these are improvements are repaving type improvements, and we really don't have a working policy in place for how we are going to address these. We have Twin Lakes Village that the township did in the past, where they're private roads and there's a special assessment. The township bonded for those, that was a number of years ago. But in talking through the process itself, at the White Lake Township, we don't have a engineering department that can get involved with in-house of what makes sense with what does the road need? Does it just need repaving? Does it need to be further, the base, they're taking down to the base? We set up a meeting with DLZ, and they gave us some information on that, and that they would have to be involved with it. Aaron's group would have to be involved with stormwater, likely Sean's group. And so, long story short, we took this to the DPS committee last month and talked about it and felt that maybe a board policy. At that meeting, Steve Jopik was there from Lisa's firm. He had mentioned some other communities that have policies that are a little bit more refined than just PA 188. For example, some communities have a threshold of 60% of the residents need to have a special assessment, as opposed to PA 188 where it's just over 50%. Some communities have a skin in the game application fee before we start producing petitions and we start getting preliminary costs associated with this. So I think through the meeting at the DPS committee that both Treasurer Roman, Supervisor Cole, Aaron, and Mike Powell were at, felt that we wanted to bring this up to the board for board input, thoughts, and residents' thoughts as well.
Okay, I think it boils down to establishing a policy or program, I would say a program, I'll use that term better, on how to move forward with that. We don't have this as a very common
And if you think about White Lake Township, we have roads that are, private roads that are paved, that are built in the last 5-10 years, that are a lot different than some of the other dirt roads that they might want to have paved. And, if someone comes to the assessing department and says, I want to do a special assessment to pave our dirt roads, I'm just the assessor. I can't figure out what their roads need and how are we going to authorize funding for this? Who's on the hook when we start paying for it? How to recoup engineering costs if the project doesn't go, if that's what the township wants to do. So
I think.
Okay, I got a quick question. So West Bloomfield has a policy similar to what you're saying, right?
Yeah, West Bloomfield, that was a policy that DLZ shared with us. They apparently have some engineering work with them. They shared that with us. Steve said that, he wrote a Cadillac-type policy for Independence Township relative to special assessments. And I think that's the general idea, is to see if we can take pieces of some of these other townships and how they address them and put together a framework for us, knowing that White Lake's different than West Bloomfield and Independence, and we'll want to, do what's best for our residents. But we need board input on this.
Yeah, because currently, his 51% has to.
Yeah, they require 60% to do a special assessment.
Take out a lot of the arguments that we had in the past with Twin Lakes.
Right.
Where during COVID that we had residents that felt that their voices weren't heard because it was such a close vote, from my recollection. Now, if we move it up to 58 or 60%, it'd probably alleviate that.
My understanding is we can move it any percentage higher than what PA 188 calls for. So that would be what White Lake feels is best. Is it 55? Is it 60? Are sewers different than roads? I don't know what the pleasure of the board is.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think we need to do a little more homework. So I can understand why the moratorium would be in place to give us time to develop this particular plan and bring it back to the board for approval once we have something put together. DPS advisory can continue to work on it in its infancy and hopefully be able to bring some preliminary or options to the board within the next 6 months, and then hopefully have a period of time to refine it. But in the meantime, I don't think a moratorium on it is unreasonable. That way we just aren't doing it right now because we don't have everything set up appropriately.
Okay.
If we could aim, and I don't know if it's possible, just aim a little bit shorter of 6 months, because I'm sure as soon as spring hits, residents realize that their roads need some work. So if we could have it ready by spring would be ideal.
Well, I think there's a number of reasons for this, but I think a year, you'd just be surprised how fast things go by, and
You can lift it anytime.
yeah, it really whips by.
Well, and to do a special assessment, it's going to take some time with the petition cost project, process petitions, your required 3 resolutions. So it's going to be a process.
It's okay, Lisa said.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah, we
if
can
do that.
we can lift it at any time.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
I think you might have a resident that is interested in.
Stand to be recognized.
And Dave, while we're waiting for Mary to get up, do you have a lot of requests for this?
I have 2 outstanding right now that have asked for it. And so hopefully, we can keep working through this process. I don't think adopting the moratorium tonight's appropriate because it is on the agenda as as a discussion only. I think if you're going to take action, it should wait to a later meeting, but board's pleasure.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Mary, for
Thank
waiting.
you. Yes, Mary.
Mary Early, 5925 Pine Ridge Court. I think most of you know that John and I take care of the business for Hidden Pines Homeowners Association. Our budget is nowhere near the size of yours, but our biggest budget item is roads. First thing we found out when we moved in there was private roads don't mean jack. It doesn't mean you can keep people out, it just means you get the pleasure of taking care of your roads. Snow plowing, maintenance, paving. Our roads go back to 1991, at least the Phase 1 do. We have 2.5 miles of road. If you look at Hidden Pines on a Google map, you'll see all the crack filling and it looks like an invasion of black snakes. But it really is a preventative measure that helps the roads. When we're working on anything like this, we get quotes for the paving. We work with the board and our input, and they decide which areas we're going to pave. We just do a section at a time about which is needed the most and as money allows. Crack filling we do every year. Our fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th. Last fiscal year, our assessment income was $54,600, and we spent $50,000 on paving. That was just the entrance and a couple of small repairs. The reason why we were able to do that was because we have a healthy road reserve. We will not be doing any paving this year because we're rebuilding our road reserve account. We met previously with the assessor Janine several years ago to find out about SADs. And after we sat with her for about a half hour and heard all the details, not least of which is the loss of control once you turn it over to the township. But anyway, we found out all the costs involved, and we said, yikes, this is not for us. We don't want an SAD. We're going to take care of our roads. We've also observed from other township chatter and meetings and all that other HOAs are not as prepared as we are. During this moratorium on SADs for private roads, we would like your deliberations to include a plan to educate and urge other homeowner associations to build their road reserve and not have to rely on township money. We're not asking you to delete the program, but we would like to have the use of it minimized. Homeowners associations need to be financially healthy, and they have bylaws just like we do, and most are pretty boilerplate. And in those bylaws, it allows for collection enforcement of assessments and for raising assessments, which we have done. Our road assessment went up again this year, hadn't for several years. There is no excuse for being in the red outside of a disaster. So anyway, we're just asking you to please consider letting homeowners associations know that this program may end or may be limited, and what they could and should do to alleviate the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Rick, if I could, I
Yes.
one other point, the cost associated with it, and that's something that the township board would also have to consider, is, there's the township admin fee, there is the bond counsel fee if we're going for bonds. Depending on the type of offering we're going to do, it would be a credit rating and how we move forward with some of those items as well. And while some homeowners associations are very organized in the township, there are some that have no organization at all, and that's not directed towards the individuals that live there. It's just the product of how old they are and the plats that are nearly 100 years old, and it's been many, many years since they've had an active homeowners association. We'll get calls at DPS or assessing or Sean's. A tree falls down on what they think is a park, and who's going to come cut it down? They think that we're going to come cut a tree down on their park, and there's no active. If they can't get the traction on that, I'm concerned with what we're going to do as we move forward with these.
Okay. All right, well, yes, Mr. Roman.
Yeah, so just to kind of point out kind of the other side of what Mrs. Early mentioned, when you charge your current residents on your road assessments, in other words, you're building up money for a road, and then some of those people that have been paying in for years and years move, they don't get any benefit for what they've paid. And so that's one of the reasons for doing an SAD. When you want to replace your road, at the time you're actually going to do it, that's when you would assess your residents. That way, the people paying actually get the benefit of the new road. So I just wanted to mention that. the moratorium, in addition to what Dave mentioned, we're in a challenging environment right now to finance these types of projects, especially roads. Right now, we still have an aura over us with this cyber incident. And just because it's still out there, we're not getting investors to bid on our bonds like we should be. The last sewer bond that we did, we expected 6 or 7 bids. We got 1 bid. And the only reason we got that bid was because it was our own bank. So what we would hate to do is to start a road project, go through the motion, start spending money on studies, and then go out to bond and not have any bidders, and it could happen. So that was the other big reason for the moratorium. So I just thought you all needed to hear that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, depending on the size of the project is going to depend on the viability of the financing too. So
Can I make a motion, Rick?
go right ahead.
To put this, this on next month's agenda, to actually vote on the temporary moratorium.
I'll second it.
Motion, support, all in favor? Aye. Return next month. Resolution 25037, the current special assessment role for the Special Assessment District designated 2026-2032 residential refuse collection project. You're coming back up, David.
So this is an annual resolution that you do where we add new construction to the garbage assessment. We remove any demolished homes, and any mistakes that we find along the way, we correct them through this process. So if there's any questions.
I see we have 67 parcels added as new construction and 6 parcels removed due to demo vacancy or previously added in error.
That's correct.
All right, I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but anybody have any questions? Not seeking a motion? Mr. Ruggles?
Sure. I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25-037.
I have a motion to approve 25037 by Mr. Ruggles.
Support.
Support from Trustee Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's have it. David, don't sit down.
Nope. Now I'm ready.
Yeah, Resolution 25039 for partial termination of Fireman Development Rights Agreement, public interest.
So this is a resolution that was prepared by an attorney in Lisa's office to work with the state to remove the properties that we own on Hitchcock Road out of the PA 116, the Farmland Preservation Act. If you look at the map on the screen, the northern portions of the Hitchcock Road, the northern properties are ours that we acquired back in 2017 for the lack of payment of taxes. Those parcels were in PA 116 in the same agreement as the parcels that are on the south side of Hitchcock Road. The original owner and applicant for PA 116 doesn't own any of the parcels anymore. I don't know what the southern parcels did, if they were able to get out of it or if they tried to. That's something between the property owner and the state. But I don't believe they did. I don't see anything recorded. But what we're trying to do and asking the township board tonight is to approve the resolution, allowing us to move forward, to work with the state to get these out of PA 116, so we can then come back to the board for your recommendation and advice to sell the properties in whatever manner you see fit.
Okay.
Just real quick, Sean, are you able to make that any bigger?
Sure.
Thank you.
So the northern portion, if you recall, was approximately 20 acres, and we approved a split on those to approximately 10 acres each a couple of years ago in preparation to sell these. And then through, I don't recall exactly how it was discovered. I think Lisa did a title search on it and found that there was a PA 116 that needed to be resolved, and we're working to resolve that now.
Okay, Mr. Ruggles.
So I see the past 7 years, there's been no taxes.
There's been no property taxes at all.
So do you think that being in this program might provide value to the next owner? Has that been discussed at all?
No, it has not. And
If it were to stay in the program and somebody purchase it, then it's back on the tax roll, then there's taxes being paid. then they would get some kind of a savings if everything stayed the same. So they probably wouldn't develop right away, or if they did, they might be able to experience a year or two of some kind of a benefit. I just bring it up because even though they might not understand what they would be inheriting when they purchase it, it would potentially be beneficial to them.
Well, I think if they were going to use it for some sort of resource other than building a house on it, yes. But I think the likelihood of that is minimal, and they're more likely to want to build a home on that parcel.
Well, that could be, but that takes time, and the taxes would start immediately. So they would get a savings to some extent just by purchasing it. So
I think from a marketability, though, this is almost like a cloud on the title, and a lot of people would be immediately walk away from it.
I don't know. I mean, there's no cloud, there's no penalty. Like, we're going to pull out of this, and the payback would be the last 7 years, which is 0. So there's no penalty of leaving it in. And if they wanted to get out of it, the only penalty would be the tax savings that they experience, right? So there's no negative.
I believe the owner was required when they sold it to inform new buyers that it was in the program. And obviously, we received it from lack of payment of taxes. And I don't know, this dates back to the first one, from 1990, the Kelly family put it in, and in 2020, it was amended. And again, I'm unaware of what they did on the south side of the street in that private real estate deal. We wouldn't have any knowledge of that. I guess it's obviously the board's pleasure, but theoretically, the new owner could make their own application. We just did one on, I can't remember the property, but Mr. Chambers is the owner's name. He came in and made application. We worked through the steps with the Oakland Conservation, and, he made his case for what he's doing on the property and was accepted or was approved into it. So that's another thought too. If somebody wanted to do it, we could make them aware that it was in and maybe it's eligible again.
Well, I'm not saying that we should stay in, I'm just making the board aware of the options. There is a possibility that we do nothing. Don't have to do anything. If the supervisor thinks that this is a cloud, maybe it is. But just so everyone's aware.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I firmly believe that would hinder the sale. Yeah, and the thing is, when a person purchases it, they could start within 90 days to build a house. They have the means. And this process would hinder that ability, and therefore I think would hinder the marketability. I think the township is in the best position currently as the owner, because we also are a governmental agency, to get this dismissed and go through that process and be done with it.
So Lisa's saying you would have to have a farm operation. That would be all you could do on the land.
Well, it's enrolled currently, and it's in compliance, right?
But
I'm not sure if it's in compliance with the transfers of ownership and.
Well,
I'm just looking at,
it can transfer ownership,
I'm
that's
just-
not a big deal.
I'm just looking at the agreement itself, which is in the packet. And I was just pointing out that, it says a structure shall not be built on the property except for use consistent with farm operations, like among other things. So this
Well,
property.
we know that, yeah. You can't build a house, you would have to.
But I think that's what Supervisor Cowell's saying, is it's a cloud on title because only people who want to farm will be interested in it.
No, not necessarily. You can get out of this agreement very easily. We're doing it right now. All you have to say is, I don't want to do it anymore, I'm out. The penalty to get out is paying back the previous 7 years of tax benefit, which is 0 right now. So if somebody were to buy it, it goes on the tax roll. Now they're being taxed, they pay in, they receive a tax benefit, right, a savings, and then they say, I want to get out of this program. All they have to do is pay back the previous 7 years, which is 0, and now including the 1 year that they receive that tax savings. So they're just giving back their own money. So there's no penalty to get out. There's only potential savings. You see what I'm saying? If they do nothing, it just maintains and they get a tax benefit.
Correct.
So there could be a benefit to somebody. I don't see why anybody would not buy it just because it exists, because if they want to build a house, they could exit this agreement at any time. But
that may devalue. What I'm getting at is, guys, I firmly believe that we have X price for it, and this has to be disclosed at the time. Oh, by the way, you can't build a house on it because you got to get it out of this program. you are going to lose a large percentage of your buyers. They're going to go, I don't want to deal with it, next parcel, go down the road. And I have not had a conversation with our marketing group, but I will venture to say that if I asked them that question, that would be the answer you would get. And I understand your position and your thought process, but I think this will probably, based on what's going on down that road and the houses that have been built in the last couple of years on some of the parcels there, that's an ideal location for somebody to pop up something, and they probably buy it and want to do it, within a year or so. And they don't want to be bothered with that process because there's no immediate guarantee. We, the township, could not guarantee that they could get out of it. And they would have to be dealing with the state bureaucracy. I think it's just easier for us as a governmental agency to clear the title and move on. So I understand your position.
Just making you aware.
Yep.
It's not an unclear title, it's just in a program.
What's that?
It's not an unclear title, it's
No,
just in
it's
a
a cloud,
program.
it's a cloud on the title. If you went to you couldn't get a loan
I
from a lender.
understand, but I mean.
Is it a cloud on the title, Dave?
Lisa had a title company do a title search on it, and that's how this whole process started.
So it is clouded.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it came back,
It's registered at the county.
it came back clouded, for sure?
I don't know if clouded's the right term for it.
Well,
I
that's-
don't know, but
There's
it's not like
restrictions.
a lien,
There's a
it's-
restriction
So
of
what
use.
did it come back as, Lisa, when you searched this title?
You can't build a house on it.
Well, the title company lays out all the restrictions. They list all the easements, anything that affects the title of that property, and it listed the agreement.
Just the agreement?
So that would be a hindrance in a sale. So that's why I would highly recommend it.
So was
We
this,
move forward.
was this proposal started from the assessor, or did the supervisor request you to do this?
We as a group internally decided that it was the best course of action to clear the title of this so that it could be more marketable. And it just makes perfect sense.
I had a question for
Who's the
Dave.
group?
I think
It would
Scott
be
was
the
saying that
treasurer, the clerk,
taxes are-
and the assessor and myself. And
the tax is really low right now, did you say, on this property?
because we own it, there's no property tax.
we own it. so
Oh,
there's no tax.
but before we acquired it even?
I don't know what they
Don't
were
know.
back in 2016 now.
But so if that cloud stays on title and it's left as is and someone buys it, Scott, were you saying they get a tax break or not?
Yeah, being in this program, they do.
Okay.
But they can't build a house on
A
it.
significant tax break?
It has a lot to do with the person's income. So it's dependent upon your income. If your income is really high, it's lower. If your income is low, then the tax break's higher. There's a formula.
Who do you think would buy this then if it was left as is? Would it be a farmer?
I doubt it. I think it's probably gonna be somebody that wants to build a house, Or maybe they buy both parcels and don't build on one of them, and they could leave that parcel in the program. I don't know.
Because what we're gonna ask sky-high price on these lots because we want the money to help pay for the buildings. So that said, I'm just curious if that's gonna scare away someone that wanted to farm it. I don't know if you could you make a profit if you paid, market price on these parcels?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I think like Brick said, it came to the board when we did the survey to divide it, because it was thought to be, if we sold two parcels, it would be worth more than one parcel. So this has just been kind of ongoing process that, we picked back up recently, and some of it had to do with whether this property could be sold relative to what year it was foreclosed on. And Lisa might have to help me with this, that is it something that we can actually sell and then township keep the money? And the research came back from Lisa's firm that it is in fact something that we own free and clear, but we've got to get it titled in whatever best way it is, whether it's to leave it in and sell it that way or to take it out. So
Thank you.
whether
for
it's my,
answering question.
I don't know that it's my issue. I mean, it's board's pleasure what you want to do with the property. Similar to Gale Island, you sold some of the lots on Gale Island. We sold one on Herondale recently since I've been here. So they just, as we get them, they kind of come up and figure out what you guys want to do with them.
We weren't gonna list until spring anyway, so we have time if we wanna do research on kind of what Mr. Ruggles is suggesting.
Well, I was, I don't really care either way.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I just thought everybody should be aware.
Dave, I don't know, does
Either
anyone know how long this process is gonna take still if we go through with, the resolution?
The hard part is that I've submitted 2 of them, putting them in the program since I've been here, and they never get back to the township at all. I don't know if what their working relationship is with like the owner or not. So maybe we'll get a little bit more feedback being the owner of this one, because I send it off to an email that's required, and I ask them for confirmed receipt. So if we sent one in for the Ruggles family, and I wanted to make sure it got in and I got to the right spot timely and all that, never heard a word. Same thing with the Chambers family one. I sent it in, asked for a receipt to it. You can't, it's hard to get a hold of anybody.
This is good news.
Well, it sounds like it's probably in our best interest to move forward with this.
I agree. You want to make a motion?
Okay, so motion to approve resolution 25-039, resolution for a partial termination of a farmland development rights agreement, public interest.
As a form of motion, I will support that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion
Thanks,
carries.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave. I just think it'll make it easier to market it. So, request by the fire department for approval to sell 1997 Pierce tanker truck VIN --00222322, whatever it all is down there. Okay, I won't get on to that. Floor is yours, Chief.
Good evening, Board. What you see before you is the memo requesting to sell our almost 30-year-old Pierce tanker truck. In the second paragraph, there's a typo. It should say $31,000, not 30, and then 1,000. That's an interesting correction that it made. But in 22, 23, and 24, they made over $31,000 in repair to the truck. It was, Chief Holland had it inspected at this time last year. At that time, it was noted that it needed over between $75,000 and $100,000 worth of body repairs, and between $75,000 and $100,000 in mechanical repairs. As I included in the packet, there is the evaluation from Emergency Vehicles Plus that recommended the truck should not be used, not be driven, and it shall not be repaired. So we're requesting to sell this truck. I don't know, the used fire truck market is up and down. We would hope we could get somewhere around $20,000 for it. We will see. So we're asking the board to approve the township supervisor to work with the fire department, and of course the clerk, to list this vehicle and sell it. Along with that, the question came up during our budget study session regarding needing a second tanker. We do. However, the second tanker, we would need to replace this one and an older one that was sold a few years ago. We will be looking at something a little bit more smaller, a little bit more nimble to get on roads like Grass Lake, Wayne Road, where even our neighboring departments that have tankers cannot get in those areas. So we set a little bit of money aside in the budget for next year, looking forward to trying to find something used to replace this. Again, something smaller, more nimble, but first we need to get this. It's been parked a year to the day today. So it's just been sitting. So we need.
Questions or comments from the board?
So this first became in front of us in June of '24. We were asking, I'm on 60 to 70,000 then. We're not getting that now. If we would have sold that, what do you think, if we would have approved to sell that then, would we have gotten that then?
Based upon the market conditions at the time, there would have been a likelihood of about $50,000, 50
We're
to 60.
losing money because we didn't sell it a year ago.
I would say we've lost money, yes.
Okay, and then we also went from what I would call that was our parade truck to a rust bucket. So I'm in favor of this. I just wanted you to say that for me.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Hey, Chief, we had another tanker truck a few years back. If you were in office, and I know we had two fire chiefs ago that was I think Chief Marinucci, but if you were gonna pick one of those two trucks, which one would you have picked to keep? This the one we're selling, or the last one that he had sold, we should have probably held on to, that was operational, wasn't it?
From what I'm told and the research shows, that one was in better condition than this one at the
Which we could
time.
have probably still been using, is what you're saying.
Yes,
Thank you. So we should have never probably sold that, should have sold this one.
this one.
Okay, yeah. And we need two tanker trucks, because it was told to this board adamantly that we need one tanker truck and we need to depend on neighboring communities.
Even with the second tanker truck, we need to rely on neighboring communities to bring us the water in many of our dry areas. We've in fact had 2 fires already this month, and we relied on our neighbors to do that. Thank you to all those
But
departments,
having
by the way.
one, we need two.
We need to,
Okay, thanks.
yes.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Other than that, seeking a motion for sale?
I'll make a motion
Go ahead.
for 31,000.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to put up the 1997 Pierce dash tanker truck up for sale for 31,000.
Well, market conditions.
Market condition.
Market conditions, I think.
Yeah.
I'll support that. Roll call vote?
Supervisor Kowal?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, next item, request to approve Metro Act permit bilateral form, right-of-way telecommunications permit for EZ Fiber. Never heard of them, but they're coming to town. Okay.
That's Anthony.
Gonna have an alternate. Okay.
So this is a permit that we've been working with our attorney, Lisa's firm, for the last couple months to clarify the legality of this and shore up some legal items in the permit that's before you today. And I would just like to make a motion to request to approve the Metro Act permit, bilateral form, right-of-way telecommunication permit for EZ Fiber. And this will be a permit that we'll use, correct me if I'm wrong, for future. We have another provider that comes into the area.
That's a standard MPSC form.
So Joellen has done an excellent job, and we've been going back and forth in your absence.
Okay, was that a motion?
Yep.
A motion, looking for support?
I just did a quick question.
Yes, Mr. Roman.
So could this possibly give us another provider?
That's what it will do.
Yes, it will give us another provider for
Like cable
cable,
TV, internet?
So we'll have, instead of having one, I think it's
Yeah.
Xfinity right now. It'd be
Monopoly.
great for the residents.
New
And welcome
player.
more.
All right, I'll
Welcome more.
support it, knowing that.
Okay, I have a motion, you have support, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the Resolution 24-041 Fee Schedule Update 2025-02, more of a housekeeping item. We are no longer doing passports or dog licenses, so, and a few items in the public show section 6. Anything to add, Mr. Noble?
No, just, no. For the fee schedule, we are also upping our fee schedules. Excuse me, my computer went down. I can take a look at yours real quick. As far as solicitors coming into the township from, let's see, get it on my computer. I believe it's 50 to 150 and then 25 after 4.
Yeah, for solicitation?
Yeah, solicitation.
Yeah, it's from 50 to 150 for the first 4 applicants, and then each additional solicitor's 25.
25, and that's to kind of cover the cost of background checks and man hours with, dealing with this. When we have a lot of complaints in the township during the day that the police department with people soliciting and not having permits.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Go ahead, Steve, go first.
So item number 1, as far as the water system and the 4.7% increase, is that like based on what other communities do, or what was the reason?
The water system, there's been increases in cost on the system all the way around, including the cost of meters and other items. And this is just to try to cover some of the.
So it is covering the increases to cover
Yes.
whatever we had? Okay,
Yes.
not something that
No.
we're trying to charge and make more money?
No.
Okay, that's what I
We're not
wanted to go
allowed
on.
to do that.
Well, I know, that's why I
the
wanted to
law.
go on
We
record.
know how to do these things.
But, considering people ask about why we had the increase, I just wanted to be aware that it's mainly to go
Nope.
ahead and recoup the cost.
So recoup
If I
costs.
may,
Go ahead.
the water system increases were reflected, that's a reflection of the rate study increase from 2021. The first paragraph underneath the table there shows the rates increase 5% a year.
Right, that's what,
That rate study was to pay for the bonds for the Aspen Meadows treatment plant and the Bogey Lake Road water main extension.
okay.
That's where that originated. It went from 4% a year, increased 1% to help pay for that 30-year bond to 5% a year.
It's just good to know that that's the reason why the increase is, so justifiable. Thank
Just because, Steve.
Just speak.
That started in 2021.
We just feel like it. We got to buy a new tanker, so we got to save money. Okay, any other questions from the board? Yes.
I know we made changes to passports, because that's blue line. We made changes because we no longer do dog licenses anymore.
Nope.
Oakland County's taking it over.
That's right, thank you for that, I just couldn't remember that, so thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-041, fee schedule update 2025-02. Form of a motion, looking for support.
Support.
I have a motion, I have support from Mr. Ruggles. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Resolution 25036 to establish 26 Board of Trustee meeting dates. Oh my God, already? Okay, any questions or comments?
Yep,
Yes.
of course, I go through these every year, make sure they're the third Tuesday, of every month, and they are. But doing my homework, April 21st is the MTA convention. If anyone is interested at all, and I know I am, because I'm going to continue the flag bearing, that tradition.
That could be problematic.
Exactly. We either change it, cancel it. We're not canceling it, absolutely not. I said that purposely. So we could either go to the second or the fourth Tuesday of April. And I don't care either which way, I just wanted to point that out now instead of having to do it later.
My suggestion would be to go ahead of that, or the week prior to that, because of all the different other meetings that we have with the Planning Commission, Parks and Rec, and then also the ZBA, so that if anything was to be impactful, we could go ahead and bring it up at the board meeting.
The only different problem with going forward is that you won't have treasurer's report, you won't have a bunch of other financials in, because we won't get all that stuff back from the institutions in time, so that's.
So the 14th would be not a good deal.
I don't believe, it could be by the skin of our teeth that it makes it, so.
How does that impact you?
Well.
You just need to work harder?
He's relying on people to get him information, so.
You're welcome.
Well, let Mike make that decision.
28th?
The 14th could be pushing it.
28th's pretty late.
Yeah, I agree.
That's.
It doesn't have to be on a Tuesday.
No, that's true.
We could do Thursday, the 23rd.
People will still be at the MTA.
Still be at MTA,
Well, doesn't it end Thursday morning?
ends Friday.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Have ZBA that night.
Let's just try the 14th, that's what I'd say.
14th?
I think 14th. 28th's too late.
Yeah, 28th's too late.
All right, well, the 14th it is.
14th.
April, okay, so we'll just do Resolution 25036 with dates as presented, with the exception of April 21st being switched to April 14th. What? What was that? All right, no, that was a mess, okay. Looking for support? I have motion support, all in favor? Aye, ayes have it, thank you. Old business, second reading ordinance to amend chapter 34, article 2 Metro Act of the White Lake Township Code of Ordinances. Second reading of the Metro Act?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay,
There was a cleanup of binding.
pardon?
There was a cleanup of language in the ordinance.
Okay, all right. Hold on,
Yeah, second reading.
it is a second reading, okay. Okay, this is the amendment that was introduced and approved by the Board of Trustees meeting on October 21st, 2025. The proposed amendment was published and introduced Oakland County Legal News on October 28th. The adoption is as introduced and no other changes were made. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the second reading of the ordinance amended to Chapter 34, Article 2 of the Metro Act of White Lake Township Code of Ordinances.
A motion, looking for support?
Support.
I have support from Mr. Roman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Civic Center update. Well, we've got a lid on the public safety building. The roofing is stacked up in the parking lot. I am anxiously awaiting them to start clamoring on that. Some of the steel structure outside skin wall is going in. The township hall, the timber framing is going up nicely as the weather holds out. They'll start putting roof panels on within the next week to 10 days. It was hoped that the roof would be on by Thanksgiving. I think we're going to be a little light on that, but we're going to get there. There's a lot of moving parts going on right now and a lot of activity. Stanley Park is coming along nicely, although the contractor would prefer we didn't have anybody down there vehicular because of the ground area. It's extremely soft and seeded, and we've had some erosion issues with the late season rain that Mr. Ruggles and I noted. So we're trying to let the vegetation get stabilized. And I will say this morning I was out there and there is green coming up as cool as it was. So if we get a few more days of 40, 45 degree weather, we might start to see some stabilization. Foot traffic, people are welcome to go down there and do their thing. And we got a little bit of cleanup in the spring, and we'll have some sort of a opening, ribbon cutting, whatever you want to call it, sometime in the spring. So, Mr. Roman?
All right, nothing to add.
Mr. Noble?
None.
Okay, moving forward. Trustee comments. Andrea?
Thank you. I was remiss at our last board meeting to thank my friends at the Daughters of American Revolutions, the Lydia Barnes Parter chapter, for continuing the cleanup of the gravestones, tombstones at White Lake Cemetery. The best way with my help, I was describe the area that looks great is the east of the main driveway on White Lake Road. You walk in there and it's like some of the cemetery or the gravestones, for lack of a better word, have come to life. You can see who was buried there years ago. I had the honor of being able to go to the 50 years of the history of the White Lake Library. It was very interesting. I also was honored that when I talked to the gentleman that presented it, that I was even quoted in there. It was an interesting history and a fun evening. February 5th is our wonderful tree lighting, so layer up at the Fisk Farm. And then the next day, we all get up, hopefully, and go to the Holiday Extravaganza Parade, where we get to celebrate our person, Kelsey, if I remember the first name properly, who won the Making of the Fran and Russell Anderson Scholarship Fund. It's a fun evening, cold evening, and a little warmer morning, but it's fun because it's sponsored by White Lake, Waterford, Pontiac, and Auburn Hills, and it's in downtown Pontiac.
Right.
Love to see some White Lake residents there, and we'll say hi to you.
Yep. And you can
Thank you.
take a water bus down there.
Oh, nice.
So, there you go. Mr. Roman?
Just trying to let everyone know, winter tax bills will be mailed November 30th this year. If you know you're supposed to get one and you don't, give us a call or stop in, we'll get you a copy. And then as always, I just want to thank you all for attending tonight's board meeting. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Anderson.
Just want to give everybody an update. We did not have a ZBA meeting last month. Well, this month is canceled, rather to say. We will have one on December the 11th. So if anybody would like to go ahead and attend that meeting, they can. We welcome their attendance. Want to go ahead and send a thank you to Supervisor Colwell for his recent tour that he provided me of the new Civic Center. It was awesome. I appreciate that. One other thing that I just also want to make aware of, the Lakes Area Chamber has what is considered their black and white awards ball. That's scheduled for January 23rd, in 2026. But the reason why I want to bring that up is because it gives it's about nominations are open for that through December the 12th. And they have several, like 9 different categories. Key things, business of the year, first responder, for those things, young professionals, which I can't go with the young professional.
Not anymore.
If they had old people, I could be able to do that.
Senior.
Senior. It will be held at Edgewood Country Club. Several events have happened at Edgewood. They have great food, so come and enjoy it. And with all that, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy yourself and the family. And thanks for attending tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As far as the library, the Friends of the Library will be having their annual December book sale, December 3rd through the 6th. The first evening is always for members of the Friends of the Library, but you can join right at the door. And I encourage you all to do so. Everything there goes right back into the library to support programs. I want to thank VFW Post 4156 for hosting us at their post and a wonderful Veterans Day ceremony that we attended. And then I also want to mention and encourage you to join my friends there again for Thanksgiving dinner this Saturday, November 22nd from 3 to 7 p.m. This is a free event. It's open to anyone in the community. If you are unable to attend, they will even go as far as trying to deliver you a meal or picking you up to attend dinner. It's delicious. I guarantee you'll be met with warm, friendly faces, a hot meal, and good conversation. And lastly, I think, Andrea, you said the tree lighting is February. I think you misspoke, and of course, it's
Yeah,
December.
probably did.
December 5th.
A late Christmas.
Yeah, just want to catch that and wish everybody a blessed and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mr. Noble.
Excuse me.
Anything?
I'd like to congratulate Lisa, well earned.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank Elaine and Dawn for the audit. They did a tremendous job again. And I'd just like to welcome one of our new employees. Mike has a new employee also, I'm sure he's going to talk about, but Omar Wood, who's going to be taking over as the finance director. He's currently working with Elaine and Dawn right now.
I think he's still working, by the way.
I know,
You
he
wanna
was there
tell him
at
he can
6.
Go home now.
He was there at 6:15 when I walked over, so he's doing a good start. And I would just like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, Mr. Ruggles.
Thank you. The planning commission will be meeting December 4th, and I assume that'll be the only meeting in December, if I'm not mistaken. I was able to attend the Veterans Day ceremony on the 11th. It was a great day, fantastic ceremony. Andrea did a great job. And the food's great, really liked it. So hope everybody can attend. Happy Thanksgiving and congratulations to Lisa.
Yeah, very good.
That's all I got.
Okay, well, first of all, I want everyone to be aware of the change in the season. I took a step out my door the other day and I suddenly realized that drip that was the afternoon before became a nice thick little sheet, I shouldn't say thick, but a nice sheet of ice of which I did not see. And I ended up doing cat dancing for about 7 seconds. Was able to recover, thank God. So everybody be aware of it. That time is coming, so it's important. So stay safe about that. I'd like to thank Andrea for speaking on my behalf on Veterans Day. I had the opportunity to go see my grandchildren, and I have to take that opportunity when I can get it. And of course, my wife tells me when I'm going. So I was gone, but it was good. So again, thank you very much for that, and all of you that attended, appreciate it. A little word on WODA. We were talking today at our meeting, a number of different things. But since its inception, a few, number of years back here now, last month, we had 10,780 rides in October. That's a staggering number, and the number is growing. And those of you who may have received a piece of literature, if you're a registered voter and over 55, that's a giveaway. You received that. It was a feature of the primary providers of the Outland, Oakland County area, WODA, NODA, OPC, and PECS. And these groups are working collaboratively to provide service and hone service in better so that, for example, at some point in time in the future, and as part of our planning program right now, if you wanted to go from here down to downtown Rochester to have lunch with a friend, that could be made available. And you don't need to take the big empty bus that goes up and down M59, but that's another story for another day. Anyways, I think that ridership was 12 last month, so, but I don't know, I'm misspeaking, of course, but it just, an interesting thing. I think they're better off giving the money to WODA and letting Waterford and White Lake put that into their budget, and will serve the residents much better than it currently does. Nonetheless, I'd like to say thank you to all of you. And we are now going to go into closed session. So I'm going to make a motion to recession to closed session to consult with its attorney regarding trial settlement strategy in connection with White Lake Township versus Michigan Hotels and Housing Corporation and Francis Nagua in the 6th District Court, case number 25212965CZ in accordance with MCL 15.2681E. And that is a form of a motion.
I'll second it.
I have motion, I have support, roll call vote.
Supervisor Colwell?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees? Trustee Smith?
Yes.
And item approval to recess to closed session to consider attorney-client privilege communications in accordance with MCL 15.2681H. As a form of a motion, looking for support? Support. Roll call vote.
Supervisor Colwell?
Yes.
Treasurer Roman?
Yes.
Clerk Noble, yes. Trustee Ruggles?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Voorhees?
Yes.
Trustee Anderson?
Yes.
We shall go into,
And you're not closing the meeting. though.
no, I'm going into executive session.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving
Yeah,
from
happy
all of us.
Thanksgiving, everybody. Oh, one last thing. One last thing. Quake on the Lake might be coming back to Pontiac Lake, August 14th, 15th, and 16th, I think. We're working on it. Okay. Aye. We're back in session. I would like to carry through with instruction to the attorney to dismiss the, dismiss the suit regarding a settlement or strategy in connection with the White Lake Township versus White Lake, Michigan versus Michigan Hotels and Housing Corporation and Francis Nagua in the Sixth Circuit Court, case number 25212965CZ. That's form of motion. Looking for support?
For the reason that the property.
For the reason the property is sold. That's in a motion. Looking for support?
Support.
I support. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. And other items, attorney, just do what attorneys do. Yeah. Good job, by the way. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.
Good night, Lisa.
So now